back to back and approximately 20 minutes each, followed by however long of Q&As for both presenters. And lastly, additional information about future ATE Project Talk series can be found on the InnovATEBIO website, which we will post in the chat. It is with great pleasure that I introduce our first presenter, Dr. Andrea Denman. Dr. Andrea Denman's presentation is titled Curated Outreach Experiences, Increase Awareness of the Biotechnology Industry and Career Education Pathways. This presentation will provide examples of innovative and effective approaches to improve the awareness of biotechnology, life science industry, and the biotechnology program amongst Santa Monica College counselors, administrators, and potential students. Welcome, Dr. Denman.
Hello, good morning. It is so nice to be here and thank you for having me. I will share my screen. Please let me know if you're unable to view the presentation.
Looks great.
Okay, we can see it just fine. All right, wonderful. Okay, so what I wanted to share with you all today is to provide you all with the framework that I developed in order to create these curated experiences, because this is a great way to think about revolutionizing the way in which we market our programs and also to engage with our communities and our college campuses. And really as we think about what the presentation will look like, I'll explain the outreach experience framework that I've created. I will provide an overview of how this framework was applied, and then I will provide some select outcomes from the curated outreach event, which was specifically targeting our counselors and other educators and administrators on my campus. So some of the pictures that you see here are from that curated outreach event. And so as we think about what these curated experiences have the power to do, it's really about thinking about recruiting program evangelists. We can't do all the work ourselves, and we need people to go out and do it for us. So as we create these experiences, we need them to be long-lasting and memorable, so people speak highly of the experience, but also about the program. It also helps to facilitate connections with our community and potential students. And it can also help to educate parents and guardians about the program and how this type of opportunity can improve the upward social mobility of their children. And finally, it's a great way to bring in industry and our academic partners to also allow them to connect with the students in the community and see the spaces in which we're training our students. So it's a win-win for everybody. So as we think about the framework, the real important purpose and idea is to really think about who are you trying to target and be very intentional about it and ask yourself, who is it that you want to educate? Is it parents? Because that's going to be very different in how you present the information to them. As much as you want to tell them all about your curriculum and whatnot, you need to let them know that you're going to protect their children in this space, that you have their children's best interest in mind, and how you're going to be able to help them understand that supporting their children through this program is not only going to help the child, but it's also going to help the family as well. So the way in which you present the information is very important, and you have to really think about who your target audience is. These cannot be one size fits all exploration activities and outreach. You have to decide how you want to educate them and decide, do you want to do hands-on experiences, or do you want to just have a quick interaction that you engage with individuals in a very quick turnaround time? Also, you want to decide when and where you will educate them. If it's parents, perhaps you want to bring them to your campus, or if you're engaging your industry partners, you want to think about showing them where their child could work one day. So really being intentional about the space that you're trying to create, the experience that you want them to walk away with, and the feelings that this overall experience is going to evoke. So as we think about who our audience is, that's going to determine how we curate these lasting experiences. Because it's not only about the knowledge, it's about the feeling that you're going to provide to your participant. So you're really thinking about what type of knowledge acquisition do you want your participant to have, and being very intentional about what these learning and experience outcomes will be based on your target audience. You're also trying to think of what type of extent of the emotional response do you want, because again, this is a full immersive experience that you want to create. Also, the level of complexity. Are you just meeting people quickly and just giving them a flyer and telling them very rapidly what the program is about and inviting them to another opportunity or another outreach event? Or are you really looking to have almost like a captive audience where you have them for 2 hours and you're engaging with them and really trying to build and tell a story in that 2-hour time period? And so also, how much networking are you going to allow for your participants? Are you thinking about where you're bringing in multiple people from different departments on your campus and they haven't really had an opportunity to get to know each other? So this way you can create times and ways for them to intentionally network when you want them to network, and perhaps encourage them to position this networking so that it encourages them to talk about what they just learned and what they just experienced and how it felt. So you really are thinking large term of how you can create an experience where you are not only building people who are going to spread the word about your program, but also thinking about the way in which you're creating networks of support for those individuals, but also how you can tie into that network as well. So as you think about the final step of the framework, it's really thinking about how impactful are these experiences, and always evaluating at every step, no matter how complex or involved the outreach activity is. So if you're handing out flyers, being very intentional about counting how many people are taking a flyer so that you can say, I have impacted X number of people, and even asking them, how much do you know about biotech? That gives you a nice baseline where you can begin to think about creating a experience that will target that specific group and really build on the fact that my targeted audience doesn't really know a whole lot, versus, oh yeah, most of my participants that I handed this flyer out to, that they're participating in some way, is they kind of already have an idea. So maybe I don't need to spend so much time setting the stage of what biotechnology is or our program. Instead, maybe I need to tell them more about the industry or the types of equipment that they will use and the feeling that they're going to have when they come into my program. So these are all ways in which we can kind of think about building this framework and really thinking about this as an experience as opposed to just an information dump. So as we kind of put these into a more clear framework, what we have to first do is identify the gaps in knowledge. So the way in which I did that, as I thought about applying this to create my own lunch and learn experience, which was the experience that I had for our counselors, administrators, and select faculty, what I did was I designed pre and post workshop survey questions, really being intentional about what is it that I wanted my participants to learn about, and to gauge what is their baseline and how effective was my workshop. Then I went about the part of curating those meaningful, lasting experiences and really focusing on identifying what were the perceptions of my department on the campus, because sometimes that impacts whether or not people are going to tell students about a program or how students feel already. And what I learned was that, unfortunately, my department didn't have a very good reputation. So my job was to not only tell these people, my participants, about the program, but to let them know that our program is different from what they might have heard or the perceptions that they had about the department. So it was very important for me to create an experience that was not only welcoming, but also fun. And I had to combat those preconceived notions about my department and let them know biotech is different. This program is different. It stands different from what you've heard about the department. And then begin to think about creating learning and experience outcomes. So part of that was I wanted to make sure with the fun was that my participants got to experience an experiment, that they got to see what it's like to use scientific equipment, but also in a way that was accessible, easy, and engaging. Nothing that was overwhelming. And one of the activities that we did was to create a opportunity for them to extract DNA from a strawberry. Very simple, but it was something that brought them so much joy and excitement. And then we placed that activity before we had opportunity for networking and eating. So it was very intentional to lead off with fun and excitement so that people were engaged and wanting to know more about the program. And then finally, as we deliver that impactful workshop, really thinking about how do I incorporate the missions of my program with that of the college, and to provide overviews of the industry as well as these other engaging opportunities and opportunities for conversation and connection. And then, of course, to analyze the outcomes. So with that being said, some of the photos that you'll see here are from the event that I had, Biotech Saves the World, a lunch and learn experience. And again, these included counselors from all over, so academic counselors, cultural kinds of counselors from our Adelante and Black Collegians. We also included the director of marketing so that they would understand how to market our program on flyers, as well as our public relations officer came. We had the president of the academic senate. So I tried to bring in as many people as possible, as well as counselors from our Center for Students with Disabilities and the Career Center, so that all of these people could network and understand what the program was about and really serve as our program evangelizers. You know, we really needed them to spread the word because they're the first point of contact with students. And so what I saw after we did our pre and post survey after the workshops, because we ended up having 2 workshops, we engaged with about 30 faculty and administrators that attended these workshops. And so what we saw was that it did improve their understanding of the term biotechnology, because as you could see from the very beginning, let me try to get my pointer. At the very beginning, very few of our participants knew what biotechnology was, or that they could even define the term. By the time we were done with the workshops, then we were able to also see that there was an improvement, and they felt that they would be able to explain this to students or parents or other people on the campus. So we also saw that with the help of the workshop, we were also able to increase their knowledge of the industry. Where we are located on the west side of Los Angeles, there is a major boom in the biotech industry, but many of our career and educational counselors were unaware of the industry and how much growth was currently happening. So once we completed the workshop, we saw that there was 100% improvement in their awareness of what was actually around them in the Santa Monica area. As we also saw, we improved the awareness of the courses taught, because many of them didn't know what courses would be part of our pathway and how it would fit in to what students were already taking or the opportunities for transfer. And so we really wanted to make sure, especially our academic counselors, that they understood where these courses could take the students and how it would prepare them for the careers that would be available to them once they graduated. And then finally, what we saw was that there was a lack of knowledge and awareness of the bachelor degree programs that are offered within the California community colleges. Santa Monica College has maintained for 33 years as the #1 transfer institution, but many of these counselors were unaware that students could transfer to biotech and biomanufacturing programs within the community college system. So this is another way that they could encourage students that are interested in transferring to receive a four-year degree, that there's options for those students as well by participating in the program. So we definitely saw an increase there. And then the last thing that I wanted to point out, and sometimes we don't think about this because we are scientists and we love science and we don't understand why anyone else doesn't love it either. But many of the individuals, especially the counselors, they may not have had a positive experience with science, or it was kind of neutral and they don't really think about it often. And so in order to make sure that the counselors and administrators would think positively, I really wanted to make this fun and to kind of, in a short period of time, heal any science trauma that they might have, because that could influence how they're going to perceive the program and how they're going to promote it to students. So I wanted to assess their general feelings and personal experiences with science. So some of the questions that we had were, would your personal experiences with biotech or STEM influence your decision to recommend our biotech program? 83.4% of participants had said yes. Well, then I was wondering, well, what are your personal experiences with science? And so do your experiences with biotech and STEM evoke positive memories or feelings? And 61% said they didn't feel good or bad about it. They were just neutral. And then 5.6% said they actually had negative feelings. And when we were doing the activity, I overheard a lot of the conversations where people were saying, I didn't like science. And now doing this is fun. I wish my science classes had been like this. So incorporating an activity that will engage people, that makes it fun, easy, and accessible is really going to turn around the way in which these counselors, who are our first respondents and first contact with students, how they're going to speak about the program. Do you want them to say, yeah, we got a biotech program? Or do you want them to say, yeah, we have a biotech program and you're going to be able to do all these cool things? And I remember how fun and easy it was. And that's what we really want them to walk away with, is that experience, and to be able to express not only the information, but how much fun they had. So with that, some of those major outcomes, just to conclude, is that these types of workshops improved SMC employee awareness about the industry, the certificate program, and the educational opportunities for students. It helped to facilitate networking amongst employees that never get to see each other. And that also helped to encourage collaboration amongst the different departments, the student services, and within the biotech program. So there's a lot of things that we have in the works that are because of this workshop. It also helped to promote positive healing and feelings and excitement, and momentarily heal any science trauma that these people might have had. And it also helped to increase support for the biotech faculty, me, because more people stepped up and realized what it was I was trying to do and wanted to make sure that it was going to happen on this campus. So with that, I'd like to thank you for your time, and I appreciate your attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Denman, for sharing your extensive outreach experiences at Santa Monica College. We already have some great questions that we'll address at the end of both presentations. Please welcome our next speaker, Dr. Erin Kamajaya. Dr. Kamajaya's presentation is titled Aspire, Training the Future Biotech Workforce Through Project-Based Approach and Peer Mentoring. This project focuses on developing a training program with an in-house internship opportunity in protein biomanufacturing, Aspire. Dr. Kamajaya will describe strategies and lessons learned from the first 2 years implementation of the program. Welcome, Dr. Kamajaya.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Aaron Kamajaya. I am the biotech faculty lead at Los Angeles Pierce College. Usually people know me as the Taq polymerase person, the Taq polymerase project. In the last 2 InnovATEBIO meeting, I talk about the progress, what we do, and so on and so forth. But today I want to switch gear a little bit. I want to talk about how how our training program is, the lesson learned, things I've gone through as I started the very first biotech program at Pierce College in my college. So here it's just I just want to acknowledge the grant that we get. This is our very first NSF grant that sort of launched our program, and that sort of like took us to places I never thought possible. Like this include create a big splash on campus. Everybody know now. I don't know if I don't know about everybody, but at least we increase awareness on campus. We get a lot of administrative support, and that culminates into like big event like this. We get a visit from Dr. Arati Prabhakar, which is the director of the Office of Science and Technology at the White House, and we get a visit from Congressperson, our representative to our biotech program. He specifically come to see our biotech program. So we are very grateful of this NSF. This is what launched our program. Here's does it work? Okay, here you go. Oops, there you go. So here's like the outline that I want to talk about. Just a couple things. The milestone that we have from the first time we get our NSF grant in September 2021, and then we started to open our internship door in that same month, and then by less than a year we make our first Taq polymerase batch. We distribute it to colleges. And then in September 2022, a year after that, this is the first cohort. We launched our first cohort, and I'm gonna tell you about all of that today. And then now we're basically at second year of the program. So something that I'm working on. I think Andrea, thank you for the presentation, Andrea. Something that I think most of us struggle right now is that I'm just by myself. So we will need to do something. I need to work on to get more institutional support in terms of like getting more faculty or technician to do all this other stuff. All right, so how's our program look like? Well, we have this stackable certificate and associate degree that student can take. The 2 biotech course plus chemistry, they get the first one, and then they can move on to higher certificate by taking several more courses and eventually associate degree. Now, when the perk of establishing a biotech program is I get to decide what the schedule is, right? What time and what day should we have our biotech class, right? So I mean, of course, conventional wisdom suggests that we need to do it in the weekday, but that's where the students are. You need to have the class where the students actually going to campus, right? So but then I already seen there's several local programs that offer biotech courses in the weekday, so I thought maybe we can have it at a different time where we can serve different segment of student population. So the 2 choice at the time was nighttime during the evening or the weekend. So which one should I choose, right? So I did what I did is I performed this in industry. We call it customer discovery, right? So I start gathering focus group survey of student, mostly high school, which is my student interns at that time, and community college student, asking them like which day would you like, and this may be different in my institution and in your institution. I think this is very important that every college has sort of like different demographic, right? And for the small population that we serve, student that we serve, at least they sort of like indicate that nighttime may not work for them. So okay, what about weekend? So they sort of like, well, weekend is also not I don't prefer the weekend, but they don't say no. So I thought, oh, you know what? Maybe we'll do the weekend. And my hypothesis is that in the weekend it should provide more opportunity for students to join, because number one, people who work 9 to 5 during the weekday, they cannot join that weekday schedule, so they can join our class. High school student can join as well in case we do not have the dual enrollment yet, so they can join the non-dual enrollment class. Students who are busy with the STEM courses, they have to take their majors, and that majors courses usually during the weekday, right? This is your major biology, chemistry, organic chems, or just the student, right? They can also join our class in the weekend, and it's also serve different population compared to the other local program that they offer the class in the weekday. So we decided to have our weekend warrior schedule every Saturday, Sunday from 10 o'clock in the morning to 2 p.m. In the afternoon. How do we do, right? So we have to look at the enrollment, right? So I was very fortunate that in our first review on fall 2022, we were able to get a full enrollment. Of course, we try to cap our class small at 20 students because we want to give each student attention, and because this is not just a teaching class, this is more like training where I have to mentor them. So we try to keep the class at 20, and we were able to fill that one in the first class. And then if you look at the demographic, it's actually very comparable to Pierce College demographic. We are Hispanic serving institution, although we do have overrepresentation in the Asian and Pacific Islander. And of course, is there a way we can improve that? That's something that we're trying to look at to increase the diversity in our program as well. By the end of the first fall semester, we only have 17 students left that actually passed the class, which means we only have 85% retention. And then out of that, in the second class, we have 15 that came back that actually took the second class, and out of that, 13 that actually passed. So the one that actually completed the course. So I mean, I think it's pretty decent for first program. I think for many people who remember the first time, I talked to my colleague that I was very stressed out during this time, and then every time I planned a lot of stuff, but then it was things goes much slower than I was anticipating, so I didn't get to do everything. And people told me that it's common, it's normal, right? It's kind of control chaos in the lab. So we made it through, but then can we do better than this in terms of the enrollment and retention? We should try to do better on this. So now the question is, where do we get our student, right? I think this is a lot of time. How do we recruit our student, right? That's the big question. In fact, when I first started this program, I asked advice from many people, including Jim DeClos at Solano, as well as Bridget Kirkpatrick at Collins College. I remember that when I went to Bioman workshop, I sort of talked to her, how do you get students to get to your program, right? And I remember she told me that it's not just, there's not really a secret sauce. There's not like one magic bullet. You do this one thing and then your class is filled. It's not like that. But it's more like every time you do something, then from that activity, more students know about your program, and then a few people join, right? And then you do more people join. So I guess the key, the hypothesis at least that I have is that the more activity you have, it increases the awareness of biotech career in the campus, and which means when the students learn about the potential of this career, they will join. Once they learn the promise of biotech, how the career progression and the potential that they can do in this field, they will come to us, right? So that's with that mindset, I decided, okay, well, let's do several activity, and some of them I've been doing, such as student club. So this just various outreach effort that I perform. And here is our internship. From the internship, 4 students end up joining our class. And here's a quick shout out to Antibody Hackathon team, or the Antibody Hacker. We will have it again, hopefully in the summer. This one, from this activity, I know it's only 1 student joined, but out of the 5 students, 1 student actually joined. So this is like 20%, right? So it's not that bad. If we can make it big, again, like more hopefully we can increase the number as well. So I have also student club. I think this is what Andrea mentioned. You put yourself out there, make sure the student knows that you are actually there for them, right? So the club is a way for me to do so. So it's a way for me to sort of like increase the excitement of biotech or the next groundbreaking discovery and get them sort of like pump up for this field, right? So here we got 4 students join. We have the summer DNA workshop as a part of the PACES program. We got 3 students join. One of them actually presented in the previous ATE PI conference. And then of course I did classroom visit, flyer, social media, everything. We got 6 students from that, and then we have this exploration course. 2 students joined from that, and not only that, I think each of these, even though, let's say for example the exploration course, right, only 2 students joined, but then I see it as planting the seed, because now the student aware about this program, and then the student will tell other people, the word of mouth spread. Right, and then as I can see from here, 6 of them actually later on joined as a intern in the spring 2023, and then 4 of them actually joined the second cohort, the one that just finished last semester. So again, like this activity, not only maybe not all of them join right away, but at least it planted the seed that, hey, there is a possibility that you can join biotech program and pursue a rewarding career from that. So that's basically the recruitment from the first year. And then when I look at this, I look at, okay, the student club and classroom visit, it seems to be bringing a lot of students, particularly because we reach more students, right? When I talk to a classroom, it's full of students. There are 130 students or so. So it just exposed myself to more students. So I thought, okay, maybe we can increase my effort on this. So we started out in the first year. We started out by me visiting 5 classes, mostly just majors and non-majors biology. I thought, you know what, we'll increase it to 11. So the second year I did 11 classroom visit, also including chemistry class. And then in the later on, so that how did we do after that, right? So in the second cohort in the fall 2023, again, we were able to fill our class 20 out of 20. In fact, in this semester, we have to turn away some people because we have 7 people on the waiting list, and I have to send them to different biotech training program in the area. Hey, there's a space on the other side, and so on and so forth. But so I think from the 20 students, 18 of them completed the course with 90% retention, I guess. And then 16 of them already signed up for the semester, this upcoming semester in 2024 for the second class. We're pretty happy that we are able to capture diverse, some of this non-STEM major like business, we try to spread the word that, hey, even if you are a business major, there's a space for you there's a place for you in the biotech career as well, right? So there's some public health, psychology, and we got quite a few new sort of like college students who are still not undecided in their majors. How do they hear from us? How did they hear about our program? This is a survey we administered from, I think, by our external evaluator. Most of them hear from me. No, this is not me standing in front of the class, standing in front of the campus and start shouting. Not like that. But this is mostly me just visiting classroom. Again, one important lesson I learned is that we have to work with, you can't just be one person's show, right? So this is a good way. The best way to do is to establish relationship with your colleague. So you can ask them, hey, can I come to your classroom? And they say, yeah, sure. So this again, build relation with a colleague is very important to that contribute to this success. And then our class were able to generate, or our program able to generate interest in biotech career. As you can see this the survey here. The reason why they are interested is because because they heard about all this cool thing about biotech and possibility in pursuing career in that field. And then from that also we look at we did a survey for our student because there is an interest in our college to create baccalaureate degree program. So we ask our student, hey, how are you interested in pursuing baccalaureate degree program? And about 65% of them, I know it's just small sample size, only 13 students, oh, no, 20 students. 65% of them are interested to pursue baccalaureate degree program in biomanufacturing. So we did submit the application to the state chancellor office. We're currently pending for the duplicative study to make sure that our program does not duplicate other program at the Cal State system or University of California. Now, what's new this time? This spring semester, we are this is the very first time we host what is that called? This we usually only have one entry for the course, right? They enter as by taking Biotech 2, and then they take Biotech 3 and then in 1 year they finish the program, right? So we usually have Biotech 2 in the fall semester and Biotech 3 in the spring. This spring 2024 will be the very first time we offer the first class Biotech 2 in the spring, and that's because, again, remember in the fall 2023 we thought. We saw that we have to turn away some people, and we saw how the interest is. So we thought maybe we can open a class in spring 2024 and see what happened. And the class as of today have 20 people, again full enrollment, with 1 person on the waiting list right now. So we still don't have the data for this, and this is actually our dual enrollment class as well. So if you look at this, our program actually triple our section offering in just 2 years. So here's just the timeline what we have. The time we get the grant is fall 2023. We start the internship. Here there's some break in the internship right here, since I was trying to figure out how to do it as we offer the very first class. The first year of the debut of our program, we have 1 cohort finished in 1 year, like taking Biotech 2, moving to Biotech 3. And then in the second year, we started the dual enrollment course here with the one high school. And then this is the fall 2023 cohort. Now, while we're doing that, we as I mentioned, we offer well, never mind. I need to back up a little bit. Some of this high school may be able to join in the Biotech 3, or they can join in the next iteration, which is here, the spring. We actually offer the second Biotech cohort, the second entry, I guess, right here. And then, so we'll see again. So in here, we in this second year, we have the 3 Biotech 2 section, the 2 Pierce College Biotech section and 1 high school right here. And in the future, there's a conversation with another high school to offer dual enrollment. So again, like as you can see, we're expanding, but then I think I'm still struggling with getting enough support. There already have some faculty that's interested to join me, and right now I'm working trying to sort of like raise the or sort of like help them to be able to apply grants, things like that, and run the program. So that's sort of like what I'm working on right now. Our class is, maybe I just go through it quickly here. Our class is a project-based learning model. We adopt the project-based learning where every student work on some unique project. We also have this Menti. I don't know if you noticed, there is this Menti right here. This Menti here actually is the way for us to reimagine our internship opportunity. So when our internship was initially intended for people who completed the program and still in the transition to get a job, and they want real world experience, so they can do internship with us working on pack polymerase. But I thought, you know what, maybe we can open up this internship for people who have very little or zero lab experience. That way they get a chance to see what the biotech program is. This is kind of similar like what Andrea mentioned earlier about this lunch and learn, but this is for the student, right? So in a way, the way I told the student, this is you can join as an intern. You can see what the biotech lab is, what's a day in the life of biotechnician, or and if there's anything that's going on, you will be the first to know because you are in the room. And the good thing, the best thing of all is, this is what I told them, the best thing of all is you don't have to take any exam, you don't have to take any assessment or things like that. So you get all the goods without all the stress. So that's just why we were able to recruit some of the interns from there. And we I think I ran out of time, so I just gonna show quickly. We hosted our very first symposium last year, and we're gonna have it again in June 1st. We have the 19 poster being presented in that room, 70 attendee. Of course, we need to work on to invite more industry professional. We only have 2. But yeah, some of this project, since again, because we are short on time, I'm just gonna show it quickly. This is like industry focused project in developing lyophilization formulation. These 2 students have been instrumental in the project. You probably met them, one in 2022 meeting, and the other one is last year in October. So anyway, so in terms of the outcome, this is the pre versus post survey in terms of their skills and confidence on several different buckets. Yeah, so you can see this is the pre-course, and I want to emphasize that this pre-course is actually after they took. Okay, this is the pre-course during the second biotech class. So which means this is the survey after they completed the first biotech class, which is biotech 2. So in the beginning of the semester of biotech 3, the second class, we administered the pre-survey, and then this is the post-survey. So even within the second class, there's an improvement in terms of their skills and confidence. We also administer to the mentee, but we don't get a lot of response. We only get 2 respondents. We need to do better in here, I guess, to incentivize them to do the survey. Is nevertheless, we see some improvement among these 2 mentees. So the last thing is, I'm just gonna leave you with some of the student quote that we got from the first class. Most of them, there's some discourse says, this class made me aware of jobs and internship. We try to embed this career awareness in the class throughout the entire semester. I enjoy this class because it's more hands-on, more versus typical lecture class, And then in the second class, they're working on a project. It can appear to be less structured, but that's what a lab is typically. Right? You get an objective, and it's not like, okay, this week we're gonna do this, next week we're gonna do this experiment. But it's more like depend on how much progress you make, and that will influence what you do next week or something like that. So I think that's all I have, and it's just, this is my team, this me, because this is my expression almost every single class, like, oh, what's going on? Anyway, so yeah, you can connect with us, and if you need Pack Polymerase or you want to collaborate on any of the project, just hit me, send me a DM or something, or email. Okay, there you go.
Thank you, Dr. Kamajaya. At this time, I would like to direct your attention to the questions in the chat. There are a lot of overlapping questions, and for both presenters. And so, Laurie Lindberg, you actually, excuse me, had the first comment and question. You were asking about you thought it was a great idea to include career and disability counselors in marketing and public relations. And so you had asked Andrea how you got them to participate.
Yeah, I can expand on that a little bit more. So one of the things that once I started developing the program, was really intentional about showing up to as many events as possible and building relationships with people or directors of programs and centers, so that when I did send out an email, they knew my name and they didn't ignore it. So relationship building is very integral to the process of making sure that people will be responsive and receptive to your communication. So I sent out about 50 emails and got about 35 responses back. And then of those individuals, I had about 28 show up for the lunch and learns that was split across 2 days. So it's 2 hours one day for one group of faculty and administrators, and then I did a second lunch and learn for those that couldn't make it the first day.
And Linnea had asked about industry.
So I think for this lunch and learn with the administrators, I did not include, and the counselors, I did not include industry in this particular event, but I have included industry where it was more of a student focus so that the students can meet and network with the industry partner. But this particular lunch and learn with counselors, I didn't. And instead, I included a representative from one of the certification exams to come and talk about how our curriculum is preparing students for this local certification, and to kind of just provide context for how they were training and preparing students for the exam, and what opportunities and support would be for our students that would be taking that type of certification exam. So again, it was intentional on who was being invited, not to just overwhelm them with things, but making it a very specific, curated experience.
Thank you. And let's see, Catherine had a question, if you'd like to expand on that. How did you determine the scheduling for the events?
For the lunch and learn with the counselors and administrators, that was, I decided on a 2-hour block because it was in the summer. And so I knew people would not want to give too much of their time, but I wanted to make sure that I could give them a full experience. And with the extraction of the DNA from the strawberry, that took about 20-25 minutes. So I kind of built everything around that because I knew I wanted them to have fun, and I wanted to make sure there was enough time for fun. So everything else the timing was based around how long would it take for them to complete this hands-on activity. And then I was like, okay, everything else has to fit within this 2-hour time frame. So that's how I did it.
Thank you. And the next question is directed to Aaron. Laurie Lindbergh asked about your internships, and she asked if they are paid. Would you like to expand on that, please?
Yeah, we did not have funding at that time when we started. We didn't put a budget to pay interns in our grant, so all the interns are unpaid. However, there are state funding right now. There is a state funding right now that all California community college get, or at least almost all, and that will support the biotech intern as well. So we'll start working with our administration to to be able to disperse that money to our interns. So that's coming up soon. So, yeah.
Thank you. And Andrea, you had a question for Aaron as far as you were asking, what is your departmental and administrative support like? And then do you work closely with an administrative assistant or have adjunct support?
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of like a chicken and egg problem, right? Because in order for this college to provide support, for like lab tech, for example, I need to show number, but the number is hard to get if I don't have support. So it's like which one come first. So now I just basically did my heavy lifting by myself, to show a proof of principle. And now they see proof of principle, they start sort of like, okay, I think you need support, right? So but I do have a very good relationship with all of my colleagues in the department. I was attend to meeting, and not just my colleague, but also the instructional support staff, the lab tech. This is what allow us to be able to have my student to make what's it called, bacterial media, for example, for microbiology class. Like if it's like in some college, the lab tech's like, no, you're not supposed to touch anything in my, it doesn't happen in our college because again, good relationship with the lab tech, with the colleague, that sort of allowed me to spread my clutter everywhere. Actually, it was kind of bad, because we do not have any room. We don't have a dedicated biotech room right now. We're working on it, but then at that time we did not. So I have to sort of like clutter. It's kind of like the fungi hyphae, it just spread. Put my biotech equipment here, other equipment there. But if I don't have a good relationship, that's not gonna happen, right? The lab tech will say, no, you're not allowed to work in here. So, but again, good relationship. Although I do not have a formal support, there's no lab tech for me. There's no administrative assistant, but good relation goes a long way.
And Andrea also asked about funding. Andrea, do you want to elaborate on that? Because Heather contributed that it's maybe just related to something in California.
Yeah, it is California specific funding, the LAPE funds, but yeah. I was just wondering if you were tapping into that.
Aaron, I guess what are the state funds that you are using?
You mean for the interns?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the LAEP. I just typed it right there.
Oh, there.
So every college in California has it, including, even UC, University of California, and CSU have one. So
yeah. I think my question was next about, are any of your programs getting access to Strong Workforce Program funds in the state to support you?
We got the very first one. This is the I think the work together with Wendy Johnston from Pasadena Bio Collaborative. That's the only Strong Workforce fund we got. The rest is external funding, which is I think why my dean sort of love our program, because we deliver enrollment, but we don't take too much from his pot, I guess. So, but I don't know.
Linnea, did you have something to ask? You had your hand up.
No, I was kind of curious. Well, have you tried doing any of the workshops that Andrea has done for parents and students or recruitment? It doesn't sound like you need to, though, since your program is full.
No, I think we're thinking about expanding. So what Andrea mentioned about Lunch and Learn, this is actually very good, and thank you for presenting that. I mean, for the longest time we tried to reach out to parents and we don't know how, So I guess maybe this is maybe the key. But alumni, I think I saw your comment over there, Linnea. Alumni is very important. So when we go to classroom, it's probably best to bring some alumni of your program, alumnus, to talk to the student. In my case, the very first year, I didn't have any alumnus. So luckily for me, I am one of the alumni of biotech training program at community college. So I share my story, my personal story as an immigrant coming to United States, barely speak English, and struggle finding my way throughout the campus and find the biotech program. And then now it took me to places that never imagined I could be, right? So, and how it changed my American dream, from just putting food on the table into where I am right now. So.
And at this time, I would like to thank everyone for being here this afternoon. Our time sure did fly by, and there are a lot of questions that I believe most of the questions were addressed in the chat. Also, Cassandra put a link to the survey. If you could please click on that link and just provide us with a little bit more information on how we can, what you liked about the presentations and how we can improve. We use this to improve any future talks. And also, I mentioned at the beginning that we have a full spring ahead of plenty of ATE project talks. Please register for future Friday events at the same time. Thank you again to Dr. Denman and Dr. Kamajaya. Your presentations were insightful and provided us with the great work that you're doing. Thank you to all and happy Friday and have a great weekend.
Thank you.
And thanks to Dion and Cassandra.
Thanks.
I don't know how I'm going to do it whenever she's not here.
Very professional. Sounded very